All right, we're ready to go.
I'm down.
All right, ooh, I can't stand up, can I? I guess I'm going to have to sit. So if anybody can see on the screen, this is Rob, and he's actually the star of the show. Now, granted, it is this is a fully functional Rob. I would turn him on, but he would turn around and make lots of noise. He is holding a Raspberry Pi down here and a adapter board that's acting as a buffer to go between the Raspberry Pi and a console. So let me show you what Rob can do. So can you turn on the NES there? So this is Rob. Now, he's playing back pre-recorded input that we previously put together painstakingly, frame by frame. And in this case, this run is made by Adelicat. Adelicat went through the trouble of doing awesome stuff. Now, it's an auto-scroller. There's not a whole lot you can do. It's not like you can make it go any faster. So what he did is that. There's about 10 minutes of this, so. Now, it is not at all fair to compare what he's doing to anything that a live runner could do. He used an emulator ahead of time, painstakingly went through in slow motion.
Yeah, he's not doing it right now.
I shouldn't even talk. This is just too awesome to watch.
Now the robot is showing up.
So, how do you follow that? Okay, what you're seeing here is a combination of things. First of all, he did use Lua scripting. He used a scripting language called Lua in order to make it easier to do things like run around in circles, so he didn't have to do all that by hand. He's also playing literally perfect and manipulating enemies in however way he feels like it, basically. You'll see here that as he's moving around, the enemies will respond to him, and he knows what's going to happen. Oh, it gets better, don't worry. Oh, yeah. This is awesome. Oh, my goodness, we desynced. Okay, can somebody go get my NES? Okay, what you just saw was a desynchronization where the hardware has slightly different timing than the run was expecting. This is a really, really common problem, even in the emulator world, where we'll run it on one version of an emulator, try to play back the same file on another version of the emulator, and it won't synchronize. And what you're seeing here is all of my testing took place on my own personal NES, and the Nintendo here is slightly different timing, just by some chance, and my settings didn't work, so we desynchronized. Do you want to restart? What do you want? Let's skip forward.
You want to skip forward?
Yeah, let's skip forward.
All right, well, let's go to Mario Kart then.
Yeah, go ahead and kill that one. We'll go back to Gradius. Boo?
Bummer.
I know.
Yeah. There's somebody.
Yes, I mostly killed my own game. I think we're going to skip right into
the special cup for
yeah,
Mario
we're going to
Kart.
do the special cup. So Rob here can do Nintendo and Super Nintendo games. You'll see him again in just a second, hopefully on a different console. We're going to move into a different bot created by Micro 500, this guy right here. His bot works on Nintendo 64 games. And
sitting over here.
Yes,
like
I'll let
what?
him take the show on what we're actually doing there.
We're going to play Mario Kart 64. We're doing the special cup. I only just found out.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to turn on, but yeah. Well, I only just found out last night that it works, so we decided to throw it in. Drew Weatherton is actually the one that made the run, but it's from like 6 years ago, so it's kind of suboptimal. But
2007.
seven years? Yeah. But the glitches are fun to watch, so we threw it in, and hope you enjoy it.
The reaction we got in the practice room was
Yeah, everyone seemed to like it,
intense,
so.
we just had to put it in.
I can talk a little bit about why it's suboptimal, and we're going to show another run after this of the Mushroom Cup that will be much better played. So this is a special cup run on the 150cc difficulty level. You'll see Mark Jones on Wednesday playing through all the cups at this difficulty level in GP, and you'll see him do some of these tricks, but not all of them, because they're very challenging. So yeah, there's a finish line glitch here that I'm going to go right to the second lap right there. that I abused throughout this very short 3 laps. Actually, this is one of the least optimal tracks. Michael Freed demonstrated that you could turn much faster. You could probably finish it in under 20 minutes, or 20 seconds. Okay. So yeah, that was DK Jungle Parkway. The next one, I believe, is Yoshi Valley, and it will be short and rather abused as well, including the intro that I was told was annoying, but I enjoyed it. So same thing, you can abuse a finish line glitch here by hitting this line and falling to the ground, and then the game thinks you've actually finished a lap when it puts you down. And now in time trials, you'd normally just use another mushroom to jump that fence. I had to jump the fence by running into it, which is something that a friend of mine, the late Michael McMullen, came up with back when I made this run. It's a little slower, but I had to do it because otherwise, if I tried what I did on the 3rd lap for the 2nd lap, it would have not triggered the lap. So it was a little slower, as you saw, but I had to do that. So the next one is you'll see some more standard racing. It's the Banshee Boardwalk, and
Leave that for a surprise.
yeah, this course does not have any shortcuts except that it does, as I'll demonstrate. Yeah, so in GP you have the advantage of the CPUs which you're competing against, but sometimes you can use them to your advantage. And you'll get a little confused maybe after the first lap ends as to why I'm stopping and doing weird things. Oh, I should mention manipulating items. So you can get a mushroom in first place. It's about as likely as any other item. Maybe a little bit less so than some and a little bit more so than others, but it depends on what frame you press the Z button to trigger your item on. Well, in tool-assisted speedrunning, I can check every frame and just hit Z on the frame that would give me the mushroom. And sometimes the mushroom is the best item. Here we go. So thank you, Bowser, for helping me out there.
Oh,
We got it.
Hey, Adam.
hey, Delicat.
Hey, you hear me? So I should introduce Adelicat. Adelicat is the current site administrator for TASvideos.org, which is the main website to go to for more videos like this. Adelicat is the one that created the Gradius run that we just saw desync marvelously.
Sorry about that.
But I wanted to invite him to come on Skype just to kind of give some background on TASvideos itself and where it all came from. We might try to do that after this run, but
If there's anybody fit to represent
spelled my name.
TASvideos, it's
That's all I
Adelicat.
wanted to see.
I would say so.
So the racing during that was not quite optimal, but the jump was something that's probably not, it's not easy, it may not even be possible to do in real time. You need to get really lucky with where Bowser is. Now this is a very interesting race. It's not quite what you'd expect. Why am I going backwards? Is it desync?
Nope.
No, that doesn't.
It's fine.
Holy shit. Of course, it's M500. Yeah. So I'm not even explaining, I guess, that I had to go backwards to get a shell to hit me over the edge, but if I had only gotten hit by the shell, I would have just tumbled straight down. I had to hit a mushroom right as I got hit. That's called a, I don't know, item cancel, maybe? And it lets you actually jump instead of tumble. The green shell, however, lets you tumble forward. The red shell makes you tumble straight down. So the green shell is better. I would rather have gotten that on the first lap, but you're not able to get green shells in 8th place. And because I turned around and went backwards, I was actually in 8th place.
Wellington, I got a question from the TASvideos IRC channel.
Okay.
Can you get a blue shell in first place?
You cannot get a blue shell in first place unless it's a special item box, which appears on two levels. Or if you're manipulating, you'll see on the other tasks, the finish line can be abused.
Beautiful.
All right.
This is a really good idea.
Yep. So we'll do Mushroom Cup next. This one is a much newer run that you did You're still working on, right?
Yeah, it's technically only been seen by a few people, so this will be the unveiling, I guess.
Yeah. That's,
So, Delicate, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. So you want to take this brief break to talk about what TAS Videos is?
you want to play it or?
I guess so. TASBvideos.org is a site, well, a community of people who make movies like what you're watching here. We do it for, a variety of platforms, anywhere from old school Nintendo all the way up to Wii and anything. I think what else? We also do a lot of work on, emulator work, and we have to obviously do custom emulators and tools to achieve these results. So if you're interested and want more information, just go to TASBvideos.org. We've got plenty of videos and content about what we do and how we do it.
So, Delicate, I'm going to have you hang on the line if you can. We're going to go through another Mario Kart run, and we'll try to get Gradius up and running in a minute or two.
All right.
So one large difference between the prior run and this run is how I've been tool assisting, the game. Previously, I actually had a controller and I was sitting there playing with the speed slowed down and just trying to get the mini turbos to be optimal and trying to get what I wanted to occur. This run was done with a virtual controller where I'm actually controlling the button input through a mouse.
Actually, I haven't seen this one yet.
So I have a lot more precise input here, including these huge jumps here, which are called the mile-style jumps, because Miles Buckram was, I believe, the first one to ever actually do one, even though it was believed to be possible. So, when you watch Mark run that on Wednesday, he'll probably be pleased with something, I think, in like the 120-ish range. You just wouldn't try a whole lot of that stuff if you were not doing tool-assisted speedrunning. So here, there's not really a shortcut on this course, honestly, but I do go ahead and manipulate 2 stars by turning around, getting into second place, and getting 2 stars. You can get a star in second place. You can get most items in second place. It's just very unlikely. So that would be if you did that in real time, you would be beyond ecstatic. It just isn't likely. There is competition in speedrunning in the 150cc GP mode. But if you were to go and try to race one of these courses, for example, to get to Moo Moo Farm, you'd have to get past Luigi Raceway first. So you don't get many tries on it. So the times aren't really as optimal. Time trials is very optimal. So we've done some speedrunning on or tool-assisted speedrunning on that. I think Michael Fried is one of the big ones who's done some stuff there. And generally, we can only beat the world records by a few tenths of a second, maybe half a second. So whereas in the GP mode, as you can see, we can beat the world records by tens of seconds, a minute, because you can do things that are kind of crazy. A lot of the time when I was using a mushroom there, I was doing a tool-assisted only trick, and that is when you slide, if you oscillate the control stick left and right, every other frame, you actually get a slight boost in speed. So, and I don't even think you could get any boost in speed if you tried that real time, although I haven't tested extensively.
Probably not.
So that's an example where the game accepts the input, obviously the system accepts the input, but you wouldn't try to do that in real time. Here is Koopa Troopa Beach, which I went ahead and got in second to get a star there too. You'll see me get 2 more stars in this race while in first, but if you pay close attention on the bottom left, you'll see probably that I go into 8th for maybe 1 frame, and I use a boo. There we go. So I use the boo while I'm in 8th place, technically, because there's one polygon right there on the finish line that is mislabeled, I think, and thinks that you're back 1 lap.
Nintendo's so good at making games.
Yeah. There's several courses that have that glitch, and if this run included Royal Raceway, you'd see it used there, but it doesn't. So yeah, I'm just manipulating stars when I can, and then mushrooms when I otherwise couldn't do that. And here's one example right now where I'm going to be oscillating the control stick. I think that saved me a few hundredths of a second there to flick back and forth as fast as possible. The next one is really unique. Nothing quite like it in the game. It actually, so Calamari Desert has a intended shortcut in the train, which I believe, I actually saw an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto. They're like, hey, is there any secret in Mario Kart 64? Because there appears to not be, and he mentioned this shortcut, so at least that's what I recall. So it's an intended shortcut. So what you do is you go through the tunnel, and normally you would go back through the tunnel and use a star while you go past the finish line. You know, you're next to the finish line. I go ahead and come in this direction on the tunnel, shoot off that shell, turn backwards, lose the star, because if you keep the star and go back across the finish line, you'll lose your lap. And now I'm trying to chase down that shell I shot off. And I need to catch it, otherwise I'm stuck in here. And I'm not too worried about catching it because I got to try every single frame that I turned to see which one was the correct one. But it still was challenging to line that up and get the timing down. So we're 10 seconds from the end, believe it or not, because that's... There you go.
That's all part of the secret route, right?
Yeah, that was intended shortcut, right?
Oh, yeah.
So just fun things you can do when you have the ability to save the position you're at and go back whenever you make a mistake or to try different things. That's really the fun part of tool-assisted speedrunning. It's like a puzzle.
No game is perfect. Everything can be broken.
Okay, so $10 from Kayan as the guy who made the game. If I want to be the guy Gaiden doesn't meet its incentive, I'm going to cry myself to sleep while eating a tub of ice cream. Regardless of how much I end up crying, keep up the good work for the good cause.
Which one are you doing? I think we're going to try Grady's again. Let me get it.
Now that we have a deli cat on the line.
We should.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Excellent.
Apparently, we have crashed TASVideos.org.
Excellent.
Sorry, you're delicate. I think.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Sorry, not sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
We good?
Yeah.
Take two.
All right, take two.
What's more with feeling?
So, Delicat, why don't you take some time to tell people how you did this?
All right. Actually, I do want to correct whoever was speaking a minute ago. Actually, this did not involve Lewis scripting because this actually predates the concept of Lewis scripting being put into emulators for our purposes. So it was actually a custom hacked emulator that allowed me to create macro files, basically combinations of input that I could feed directly into the emulator. Which is a lot more painful than Lewis scripting, and that's how I did it.
Delicat had me switch over to a different emulator called BizHawk for my Mushroom Cup. Well, it's going to be the next run, actually, to be able to use Lewis scripting. As you mentioned, it makes things easier.
And basically what we're doing is what I didn't have for the Gradius run. So we had actually had someone custom make an FCU version that would allow that. So this run, what inspired me was the run by Morimoto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It was one of the few runs on the site that kind of showed off inhuman playing, but with a different goal in mind. So instead of beating the game as fast as possible, he was just showing, superhuman reflexes and how that could be interesting too. And it was an older run and it was kind of out of date and there were some things we could do better. But a lot of people were like, well, how do you obsolete a run that's just for entertainment value? And so for me, that was kind of a challenge.
Oh, no.
I saw a lag in there for a second.
Yeah, why? We ran this literally what?
It is
15
running
times?
under these cables. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a. Oh dear. That might not be helping. We're going to abandon Gradius again. Sorry. Yeah.
I was hoping to skip.
I think this is the first time in history we have mercy killed the same run twice.
I moved
Yeah.
it if you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before. That's never happened before. Okay, I think we are going to switch back over to his bot to do the bid war win, which
Probably is
probably still
0 star.
Probably, yes.
All right.
Can somebody check the bid war?
I assume it is.
Mario 3 only had $1.
Yeah, Mario 3 had $1.
We
Come on,
appreciate
No
Mario
love for Mario
We
3.
appreciate the dollar.
Last time we checked it.
No, there was love. There was love.
Yeah.
There's not much.
A love.
A single.
A singular love.
What?
Are they
Really?
There's 25 cents difference.
$28 for Super Mario Bros. 3 and $228.25.
Well,
Wow.
so 0 star is the winner, I guess.
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Sorry to all the Mario 3 fans.
Okay.
Super
We're the
Mario
single
64
person who put in two
is by far more visually impressive to
It
people
is.
who are unfamiliar with TASing.
Yes.
It's got a great legacy of improvements too.
Oh yeah.
I think see Mario 64 go from taking 70 stars
Yep.
to like 40 something to 16
Yep.
to 1 to 0.
Backward long jumps.
Yeah.
All those fun glitches.
Yeah, so it's a great
Back in the day
example
when it was
of
just
collaboration,
Yeah.
both in speedrunning and in
We
tool
do have
systems.
that 70-star run with no backward long jumps. No.
We got time. We can
No,
do it.
no, we don't. Well,
We got a
no,
couple
no, we're
minutes.
saving the time.
So obviously unskippable cutscene to begin,
Yep.
This is the run.
but yeah. We
So
mentioned
one thing about this run that is new, they've been improving this run for years, and it's always been like fractions of a second they've improved it. I think a big thing with this one is that they fixed the camera angles. Is that true?
Yep.
They made it a lot prettier while improving the speed.
The camera angles were
and
not.
that's valued significantly in tool-assisted speedrunning, the aesthetics of.
Yeah.
You don't want to just stand
'Cause,
around,
I mean,
for example.
we could beat the game as fast as possible and do it really boring. We could look at the wall for the whole
That's
time,
just
or we
amazing.
could make it look pretty.
A big part of TASing is speed.
So
Is trading off speed for entertainment value. Entertainment is first and foremost the most important part of TASing, in my opinion.
Recently we've started accepting just brute force, beat the game runs, but they're not as high tiered. There's
Right.
actually tiers on the website now.
It doesn't have the legacy that this kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are much higher supported on the website.
this
The
actually
pretty
has
runs.
a star. It has an award, I guess, for entertainment.
Yeah. This is one of the recommended runs if you're interested in our website.
So to mention though, how did we get in this place so early? You know, you saw them long jumping backwards, or maybe you couldn't even tell what was happening. We mentioned backwards long jumping. You turn backwards and long jump backwards, and it doesn't check for your speed.
Here's another one coming up
Okay,
that's
yeah.
really good.
It doesn't check your speed to limit it like it normally would if you're running forwards. And in fact, sometimes you'll hear or maybe see that the game's getting paused on and off quickly, and that's, I think it's called pause buffering, or what would you call it? Pause something. It actually lets
Might be
you,
pause buffering, I don't
instead of every other frame backwards long jumping, you can actually backwards long jump every single frame. by
Because
pausing.
normally you'd have to press the button on and let go for every frame. You can press it, press start, and you don't lose any frames.
Yeah, this is great. And notice the camera spinning around.
As a reminder, during this block, $20 donations makes you eligible for a TASBot.
Did you talk about that? Did you talk about the prize?
Oh, I should mention this. If you win the raffle prize for this block, you will win Rob here and just the circuit board, and also a Micro 500 circuit board that works for the Nintendo 64. So you'll be able to run.
And a controller cable for it too.
Yes, so you'll be able to run NES, SNES, and Nintendo 64 games that have been known to sync.
And you also get a ROM.
Yes, and you also get a Rob. He is fully functional, and one of the most aesthetically pleasing Robs I have ever seen. He is fully functional.
You also get the Legos. Can't forget that.
Got to throw that in there.
All right, I'll throw the Legos in.
Why not?
So $50 from Sam Wen. No game is perfect. Every game can be broken. No disease is perfect. Every disease can be broken. I love AGDQ and love you guys for the great work that you do. Here's to another year of breaking games and breaking cancer.
So I believe the tagline for, I don't know if it was this movie, but one of the older ones was, have you ever wondered if Mario is a ninja? Now you know.
Yeah, clearly.
I think it's just a witch. Ninja witch.
Which, magic.
He's swimming in walls.
Yeah, actually, when
There's
he's
that.
swimming in the walls, that is a TAS-only trick because you have to alternate button presses every other frame. Something like that probably couldn't be done real time very easily either.
No.
A little bit of black magic.
Yeah, a little bit. Smoke mirrors.
Watch him catch the tail in the air. That saves some time. So, I mean, the little things that they've come up with to
Yeah.
save frames here and there.
And he kills him before the thing even starts collapsing.
Yeah, and he's over here jumping on it. Positions himself well to get the star because it'll jump towards him. So you don't have to run any further. And then we stop timing right when he jumps towards it.
There we go.
Alan. For the rod, it's $20 for the rod. You might want to.
Yeah, so
Video.
there's a
Switch
$20
video.
minimum donation for the Rob during this
We need to switch video, whoever.
game.
Delicat, while we're swapping over, would you care to briefly talk about the differences in timing between TAS videos and the Speed Demos Archives timing?
Well, yeah, the on test videos, it's timed at on power on, and we generally prefer timing things in frames. So you'll see a video time of that'll be clocked at, let's say, 50 or 60 frames per second or 60.1 depending on the console. But we count from frames from power on until the controller stops, which is a key difference because that isn't always when the game ends, because it can often be some seconds before that. Usually it's pretty close to that, but in Gradius, for instance, had it synced, you would have saw about a good minute of gameplay of just no controller being on. It actually ends about a minute before the game is beaten in kind of an epic way. So that's as opposed to Speed Demos Archive, which would start from when gameplay starts and then end, precisely when the game's beaten.
It is worth mentioning that even though we're unable to get the Gradius run to sync, it is featured on TASvideos.org, and
Right.
all of these runs are featured on TASvideos.org. You can go there and you can see all these runs and a lot more. A lot of really, really good pieces of work on that site.
And with Gradius, there is a video of it being played on a real console, console verified. So you can see that it in fact can happen and has happened, at least.
Yeah, the point of TAS is that we record the button presses in an emulator, and in theory, if the emulator's accurate enough, we could take the button presses as they are and put them into the controller port of an actual console, and it will play back.
Yes.
And that's all a TAS is.
Fortunately, with the work that these guys have put in, we found it's no longer theoretical.
Yep.
As you're seeing here, it's real.
And the real time might be a little bit different because the console might run at a different speed, but it's pulling for input at least consistently enough that we can use the same input for both the emulator and the console.
Right. Well, we're going to try one more time with Rob and see if we have any luck.
We better this time.
Yeah, this is not going to be Gradius. This is going to be Super Mario World. Oh, sorry.
The rest of the run, probably.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is the grand finale.
yeah, 5 minutes. Whatever.
AGDQ go under your estimate.
Yes.
Put a number and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Give us a countdown when you're about to turn it on.
I think we're ready. You want to go ahead and turn it on?
All right, 3, 2, 1. Nope.
Oh, there's no power.
Well, there should be power. Woo! The video's in.
Fastest to no power on.
That's the
Yeah, well, we timed from power on, right? So that was 0.
No, the Super Nintendo does not have power.
Yep, that's it.
So as a reminder, we're here for the to benefit the Prevent Cancer Foundation.
It's a rat's nest.
That was unplugged.
We are Speed Demos Archive, and SRL, Speed Demos Archive, is the premier community for video game speedruns. And SRL, the best site to race video games online against others.
Alan, the light's blinking, right? You turned on multi-tap.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, 3 blinks.
Darn, I was hoping to slap you.
Oh. We did have to put this into a slightly different mode in order to get the Super Nintendo run to sync.
Whatever this run is, they wouldn't even tell me what it
Can
was.
we power it without?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Okay.
You believe the file, right?
I sure hope so. Looks like it.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
you
no.
didn't. You didn't.
Oh, did you use a different cartridge?
No.
Okay, we got to delete
Oh,
the
no,
save
wait,
game.
maybe. If I can grab the mic.
Yes.
Okay, is that restarted? Okay. 3, 2, 1. I think I forgot to switch.
There we go.
That's better.
All right. This is a Super Mario World task by Master June. Contrary to what I said a few minutes ago, this one task is not featured on task videos yet. This is a brand new task. It was finished yesterday, midnight.
So we've done extensive testing. We know exactly what's going to happen.
All right. The only 2 people who know what's going to happen is me and Alan here. So
I'm looking forward to it.
everything that you're going to see here is
Seemingly random.
seemingly random, completely intended, despite what it might look like.
Whoa,
What is that?
that was delicate.
Oh,
What he's actually doing is spawning spawning tiles in a specific order. There's this thing called the OAM, which is just a table which contains all the physical, graphical properties of all the of all the tiles on screen. The P-switch is really the key factor here. What he just did right here, he stunned one of those flying item boxes, which basically means that he made it act like a Koopa shell. And then he...
this is a snake run.
Yes.
It's a good time to say that Tommy Refriends donated $500. I'm loving this TASBot run. Great work, everybody.
That smiley face is Master June's avatar.
Hey, Tampa. Hey, Tampa. Okay, Tampa. Go grab a controller. Plug it in.
I'm scared.
I guess I'll take this opportunity to say, I was hoping to be able to explain this in more detail, but I forgot how quickly everything happens. Basically, the gist of it, he did a lot of things, and he was able to write his own code in the game while it was running. So he was able to program both Tetris, Pong, and Snake in the game without hacking it.
Through the controller port.
Yep, and yes, through the controller
Pick a
port.
game.
It used all 8 controllers that the SNES can support to be able to do that.
So, they are now competing against each other. Who's on top? Wait,
I'm Bob.
don't answer that. So, this is also a great opportunity. I'm going to pull these out now that I can. These cables are a little bit unusual. I had to fabricate these because a normal Super Nintendo on a controller cable only has 5 wires hooked up, and I needed all 7. The reason I needed all 7 is the reason I needed all 7 is I needed the extra data and the extra I/O select pin that you would normally find on a multi-tap. So this is technically a multi-tap controller cable, and this is also technically a multi-tap controller cable. Each multi-tap can serve 4 controllers, so if you're keeping score, that means we just hooked up 8 controllers to a Super Nintendo with really interesting results. The extra controller cables allowed him to shove enough data down the line in order to program a game through the controller port alone.
Okay. I just got approval to be able to talk about this. The original plan for this whole thing, by the way, this is called Total Control for apt reasons. The original idea for this was to create all of Super Mario Brothers inside of this game, and then TAS it. That ended up not being possible. We don't have enough time per frame to be able to do it, to be able to write the whole game. So it's unfortunate, but it would have been nice. And this is pretty good too.
Yes. So now's a really good time to just say thank you to everybody who made this possible. I've basically been the project manager to make this happen. I was going to do it all on my own, but there were so many people who were interested in contributing that I hardly had to do anything. If you would like your own NES, SNES replay device, you can order them at truecontrol.org. We just /dotted that. They are $43 plus $2 shipping if you wanted it fully assembled. You will have to come up with your own controller cables, but you can order the board that allows you to go into a real Nintendo or a Super Nintendo if you want. Also like to say thank you to all of the TAS videos users who helped out. There's been so many. Alari helped with the emulator to dump the files into the format that we needed for the bot. Somebody named Zid helped with initial verification that we might not be able to use Raspberry Pi GPIO pins. Ooh, sad day. That was good. Obviously, a lot of credit goes to Micro 500, who came up with the first NES bot. He's sitting right here, and I owe him a huge round of applause for making this very possible.
I think a big thank you should go out to the guys that actually made the runs that we ran tonight, because they put in the hard work to actually make the buttons and run the games and make them pretty for you. So
obviously, Master June did all of the work on this run you're seeing today.
Awesome.
The Delicat, who was on Skype, did Gradius. This guy right here,
Live and in person.
Weatherton, did the Mario Kart TASes, and
there was a lot of them on the Super Mario 64 run.
yeah, how many are there?
It's like 7, I think.
It's quite a few.
I'm hoping, if it got set up right, I'm hoping the names were on the screen in the stream.
At least it's not the 120 star.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, that
120 people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't load that on my computer.
That's the neat,
because the
and
file name was
I
too
think we
long.
mentioned it before, but that's the really neat thing about tool-assisted speedrunning is that it's very collaborative. It tends to be. You get whole communities involved in actually making a single run. I know whole communities get involved in developing strategies for single runs and speedrunning also, but then it's 1 or 2 people running through it to actually execute the run.
TAS Videos also, I should note, tasvideos.org has game resources for a lot of different games. Those game resource pages are extremely useful for people who are doing real-time runs because they contain information on how the game mechanics work internally. And there's been a lot of collaboration between Speed Demo's archive group and the TAS Videos group in the last few years.
I'd also like to thank P4+2 for making this possible. He's the guy who helped out with the original credits glitch for the Super Mario World glitch percent, which has come a long way since then, clearly. And also Bahamut, one of those, for being a really big influence on the whole matter.
Indeed. And with that, I think that's everything. You can put select and go to the end. That's it. The end.
That smiley face is Master June's logo.
Okay, so a
Avatar.
$100 donation from Maxtroid.